Welcome to Garden of Life. Garden of Life is the place where you learn to love Hashem. Today we are going to learn about the different laws that people need to keep in the land, and also about the judges that Hashem have chosen to rule in the land. So come with me and let's make this fun judge hair today in Garden of Life. Garden of Life is the place where you learn to love Hashem. Shalom and welcome to another episode of Garden of Life. Garden of Life is the place where you learn to love Hashem. Unfortunately, Samira and Nata are in school days. Nata is in school, so he wasn't able to be with me today, and Samira right now, she's sleeping. So you're gonna do the artwork with me. So for today's Parsha, for this week Parsha actually, Parshat Shoftim, you are going to make with me this judge hair. Now we're learning so much about judge, let's make it fun. All you need for this Parsha is just regular paper, tape, and scissors. Now remember to have an adult with you. You're gonna use the scissors. Okay, so let's do this Parsha, and as we do the artwork together, we are going to be talking about this Torah portion. Okay, let's do it. Judges and officers shall you appoint in all your cities, which Hashem your God gives you, for your tribes, and they shall judge the people with righteous judgment. You shall not pervert judgment. You shall not respect someone's presence, and you shall not accept a bribe, for the bribe will blind the eyes of the wise and make just words crooked. Righteousness shall you pursue, so that you will live and possess the land that Hashem your God gives you. You shall not plant for yourself any idolatrous tree, any tree near the altar of Hashem your God, that you shall make for yourself, and you shall not erect for yourself a pillar which Hashem your God hates. If a matter of judgment is hidden from you between blood and blood, between verdict and verdict, between plague and plague, matters of dispute in your cities, you shall rise up and ascend to the place that Hashem your God shall choose. You shall come to the Kohanim. You shall come to the Kohanim, the Levites, and to the judge, who will be in those days. You shall inquire, and they will tell you the word of judgment. You shall do according to the word that they will tell you, from that place that Hashem will choose. And you shall be careful to do according to everything that they will teach you, according to the teachings that they will teach you, according to the judgment that they will say to you, shall you do. You shall not deviate from the word that they will tell you, right or left. And the men who will act with willfulness, not listening to the Kohen who stand there to serve Hashem, your God, or to the judge, that man shall die, and you shall destroy the evil from among Israel. The entire nation shall listen and fear, and they shall not act willfully anymore. A king in Israel. When you come to the land that Hashem your God gives you, and possess it, and settle in it, and you will say, I will set a king over myself, like all the nations that are around me. You shall surely set over yourself a king whom Hashem your God shall choose from among your brethren. Shall you set a king over yourself? You cannot place over yourself a foreign man who is not your brother. Only he shall not have too many horses for himself, so that he will not return the people to Egypt in order to increase horses. For Hashem has said to you, you shall no longer return on this road again. and he shall not have too many wives, so that his heart not turn astray. And he shall not greatly increase silver and gold for himself. It shall be that when he sits on the throne of his kingdom, he shall write for himself 2 copies of his Torah in a book from before the Kohanim, the Levite. It shall be with him, and he shall read from it all the days of his life, so that he will learn to fear Hashem his God, to observe all the words of his Torah, and these decrees to perform them, so that his heart does not become haughty over his brethren, and not turn from the commandment right or left, so that he will prolong years over his kingdom, he and his sons amid Israel. There shall not be for the Kohanim and the Levites, the entire tribe of Levi, a portion and an inheritance with Israel. The fire offerings of Hashem and the inheritance shall they eat. He shall not have an inheritance among his brethren. Hashem is his inheritance, as he spoke to him. You shall not learn to act according to the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you one who causes his son or daughter to pass through the fire, one who practices divination and astrologers, one who reads omens, a sorcerer, or an animal charmer, one who inquires of or Yidoni, or one who consults the dead. For anyone who does this is an abomination of Hashem. And because of this abomination, Hashem your God banished the nations from before you. You shall be wholehearted with Hashem your God for these nations that you are possessing. They hearken to astrologers and sorcerers, but as for you, not so has Hashem your God given for you a prophet from your midst, from your brethren like me, shall Hashem your God establish for you. To him shall you hearken, according to all that you ask of Hashem your God in Horeb in the day of the congregation, saying, I can no longer hear the voice of Hashem my God, and this great fire I can no longer see, so that I shall not die. Then Hashem said to me, they have done well in what they have said. I will establish a prophet for them from among their brethren like you, and I will place my words in his mouth. He shall speak to them everything that I will command him. And it shall be that the man who will not hearken to my words, that he shall speak in my name, I will exact from him. But the prophet who willfully speak a word in my name, that which I have not commanded him, to speak, or who shall speak in the name of the God's fathers, that prophet shall die. When you say in your heart, how can we know the word that Hashem has not spoken? If the prophet will speak in the name of Hashem, and that thing will not occur and not come about, that is, the word of Hashem has not spoken, with willfulness has the prophet spoken, you should not fear him. There are 3 supports on which the world stands. They spread harmony through all the land: Din, judgment; Emet, truth; and Shalom, peace. If these are kept, falsehood and evil cease. If a judge is corrupt, does not follow the laws, he shall consider what his action costs. He cracks one of the world's 3 supports. It will shake. On shaking foundations, our lives are at stake. Therefore Moshe taught, set up in Jerusalem a great Sanhedrin, or Sanhedrin, and in the city of Eretz Israel a Beit Din, a court. And be sure the judges are all tzaddikim, that they are all righteous. Ahora que ya tienes tu pelo de juez, vamos a pasar a un juego que tengo para esta Parashat. Entonces, vamos a hacer este juego juntos. Bueno, para este juego tenemos un juego súper divertido. Y voy a cambiar de ambiente.
Something interesting about kings is that the kings have special mitzvot. One of the mitzvot that is commanded, what is the mitzvot that is commanded to the king, is that he should not have many horses. Why he cannot have many horses? Well, because in the ancient times, the kings used to win battles usually when they have lots of horses. And Hashem didn't want them to do that. Not only that, Hashem didn't want them to go back to Egypt, but also that Hashem didn't want the king to base his strength in his horses. Isn't that awesome? That he wants the king to always recognize that his victory comes from Hashem. Another interesting thing about the mitzvot that the king is supposed to keep is that the kings are not supposed to have much gold and silver. Why? Because the king will be concentrating only in making himself rich, and he will not be concentrated on making and he will forget about Hashem because he's constantly concentrated in his riches. Another interesting mitzvot is that the king cannot have many wives. Why? Because the women usually would turn the heart of the king against Hashem. So isn't Hashem awesome that he wants the king to be pure and holy just as the other judges? The judges, all the judges, including Kohanim, the judges, Kohanim, the prophet, and the king are called to be tzaddikim, are called to be righteous. That's why there was a time in Israel that the righteous laws abide because of the tzaddikim that were in the land. And the same thing is going to happen. It's going to happen when Hashem brings his Mashiach. And the Mashiach is going to establish everything again. Everything is going to be holy, going to be righteous, and everybody, all the earth will obey Hashem. Something interesting about kings also is that the king was supposed to write down the law of Hashem on a scroll, right? And also write it down, make a copy, and give it to the Levites. So after he make a copy, he take the scroll to the Levite, and what was the job of the king? Read the laws of the Torah every day, and read it day and night, that he may know how to rule the people with righteous laws. And so that's what the game we're going to do today. So in this cubes that I have in here, I write down each letter that belongs to the books of the Torah. So what is your job? Within 1 minute, you have to form as many words of the book of the Torah. And when you form all the 5 books of Moshe, of the book of the Torah, then you will get to roll your scroll and give it to the Levites. Let's do this.
Okay, this is how the game goes. If there's one or more participants, if you have now been able to finish the game, to form a word within a minute, you have to pass it to the other contestant. Okay, whoever finished is the one who's going to make the scroll and give it to the Levite. Okay, so these are the words that are going to be writing: Breshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Devarim. Okay, let's do this.
So, and what about the Navi? Let's talk about the Navi. The Navi is the prophet. He is also part of the court system. It's part of what is the court system. So we have the judges, we have the Levites, we have the Navi, and the king. And the Torah, it gives us hint of how we can recognize when someone is speaking in Hashem's name and someone is not. Well, it's easy. This person, how do we know that the Navi is speaking on behalf of Hashem? Well, this person has to be righteous. The Navi is someone that keep all the mitzvot of Hashem. How do you test a Navi? It doesn't matter if the person does wonders, miracles, and signs, and do all these kind of things that you go, wow, this person must come from God. No, how do you test that person? You see how that person live their life. If they live a righteous life according to the mitzvot, according to keeping the commandment and guard the commandments of Hashem. And also, how do you know? Ask them a question about the future. Ask them something that proves that he is a Navi. If that matters that he said come to pass, he's a true Navi. But this is another hint. This is how you also recognize how a person is a true Navi. He doesn't take you to worship idols or to make you into his beliefs because he performed a miracle. That's how we know what a true Navi is. So what do we learn from this portion? It's amazing that Hashem had appointed all this group of people. We have the judges, we have the Levites, the Navi, and the king. Why? Well, think about this. He appointed all of this for the city. I want you to think about this, about your body and yourself. That you are like a little city. That you yourself are a city. Well, Hashem also commanded that we have for ourselves this system of judges. And you might say, but wow, I cannot be a judge. Yes, we have a judge in ourselves. And it's our brain is the judge. And who's the Navi? The Navi, that one who sees and who speaks the words of Hashem. See? And what about the Levite? The Levite, the heart. That one who ministers the heart of Hashem. And the king is the one who rules over all these. Just imagine that we have a city within ourselves, and Hashem have appointed judges in our lives. Also, we have judges in our lives. We have our parents, our teachers, our leaders, our friends, our family members, those who keep guard over us too. So think about those people that are in your life that help you think better. Maybe they help you see better. And maybe they help you to think better so you can speak in a way that is righteous and conduct yourself in a way that is righteous. That also is a blessing. So the family becomes like the system of like a court system. So, Baruch Hashem, and thank you so much for participating in Garden of Life. Garden of Life is the place where you learn to love Hashem. Shalom.